Today, I'm going to be talking about this week's episode of The Curse of Oak Island. This year, the restrictions that has been placed on the Lagina brothers and their team on Oak Island. The Nova Scotia Government has put more restrictions on what they can do. So it's kind of creating frustration for the team because they've been working with the Nova Scotia Government throughout their whole time they've been working on Oak Island. And it seems like this year they're clamping down on them and making it harder for them to do work on Oak Island. That is what I'm going to be talking about. I got an article here. It's called The Curse of Oak Island Preview. There's fear the government may shut down operations. And this was written on Tuesday, November 16th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time by Jerry Brown. This is what the article says. This week on The Curse of Oak Island, we can expect the team to hit yet another roadblock in their search for treasure as a Nova Scotia government department orders the guys to shut down either part or all of their operation. The Department of Communities, Culture and Heritage, DCCH, had already told the team that they would be keeping a closer eye on their activities this year. Initially, the Lagina brothers took this as a positive, seeing it as an indicator that they were making progress and that the DCCH may even prove helpful. But unfortunately, it seems as though this episode will see the Laginas and the DCCH come into conflict. However, we can expect to see some good news. There's progress on the stone roadway as Steve Guptill pretty much confirms that the stone roadway is heading into the direction of the money pit. And there's more news on the discovery of gold in the money pit area. The History Channel Synopsis sums up the episode with both positives and negatives. The team is unstoppable when more evidence suggests the stone roadway is heading directly towards the money pit, when delicate discoveries are made in the swamp. The Fellowship faces the possibility of a government shutdown. That's bad news on Oak Island. In episode preview, archaeologist Laird Nevin can be heard telling shocked members of the Fellowship that Nova Scotia's DCCH had asked that they stop down immediately. A frustrated Marty Lagina said, "Our ability to work is getting eroded." He also stated that 4 acres are now off limits to the team. It's clear that Marty's becoming increasingly disillusioned and exasperated at one point. In another preview, he spoke of throwing in the towel and angrily stated, "The more we cooperate, the more our island we lose." It's important to remember that the DCCH has already said that the guys are free to do what they wish with the money pit area, so hopefully their interference shouldn't disrupt the primary goal of finding the treasure. But the organization is increasing its hold over the rest of the island, including the all-important swamp area. A map shown briefly during a preview appeared to show an area of the island that is now off limits to the team. Although the map is a little unclear, all should hopefully be revealed during tonight's episode. I have a picture of what was in the episode and what they're talking about. The part that you will see that is green, that's where the team can work, and that's the money pit area. Anywhere that is red, the team cannot work in because it's been designated as a no-work area for the team. You can kind of see it, but that is the map that was shown in this week's episode of The Curse of Oak Island. That green spot right there, that's the money pit area. That surrounding area in the red, that's off limits. That area in the swamp, that is off limits as well, and that's in the southeast corner of the swamp. And that is where they found some Mi'kmaq pottery that ranges from 500 to 2,500 years old. And that right there, they found a stone circle a couple seasons ago. So those are the areas that are off limit to the team as of right now, which is 4 acres. But there's also good news on Oak Island. As already stated, don't expect this episode to be all bad news. We can expect to see further expert analysis on the piece of metal recovered last week at the money pit from a depth of 90 feet. And it seems as though the initial analysis stating there was gold in the piece is confirmed. In a preview, we see somewhat rejuvenated Marty proudly state, "So we have ancient Spanish gold." Rick responds, "That's huge." It certainly would be huge. Ancient Spanish gold at the money pit is exactly what we all want. Rick is actually super upbeat and points out that they're at a stage where every time they pull up soil from the money pit area, they're now expecting to find gold. The show isn't called The Curse of Oak Island for nothing, and there are always going to be hiccups. But it seems as though this season, the guys are closer than ever to uncovering both secrets and treasure. That is kind of a synopsis of what happened in this week's episode of The Curse of Oak Island and what is going on. These are some of the thoughts that I've written down on this from this article. I basically titled this, talking about the problems the Lagina brothers and their team are having with the Nova Scotia Government's Department of Communities, Culture and Heritage. That's what I titled my little script here. Here's one point. The Nova Scotia Government's Department of Communities, Culture and Heritage, or for short, DCCH, is starting to become a problem for the Laginas and their team this season. The problem is they're starting to become more restrictive with them. The more the Laginas find, the more restrictions they are finding themselves to have. Another point I said is, last year the team discovered a stone pathway leading out of the swamp. Then this year, the team discovered another road on the southeastern side of the swamp that breaks from the other road and is heading to the area of the money pit. After the team finds this area, Laird Niven and the other archaeologists are doing some archaeological digs, and Laird Niven discovers some Mi'kmaq pottery. Mi'kmaq pottery ranges from 500 years old to 2,500 years old. This pottery could have been brought on Oak Island anywhere in that time range, because that's how old the pottery is. With the Mi'kmaq pottery, Laird Niven will have to report it to DCCH and also the Arcadia First Nation Council, which is part of the Mi'kmaq tribe. So they are going to want to preserve that history. And then another point, I basically said that it's about 500 to 2,500 years old, and this discovery is going to lead to problems for the Laginas and their team. Another point is, with this find, Laird Niven has to notify the Nova Scotia Government's DCCH and the Arcadia First Nation Council of the find. This could mean the team has to stop their operation in the southeastern corner of the swamp, according to DCCH. Now that they've found the Mi'kmaq pottery, Laginas and their Oak Island team have to stop all operations in the southeastern corner of the swamp on Oak Island until further notice or forever. Another point I had is, this year the DCCH and Nova Scotia Government made it a lot harder for the team to do their work. When Gary Drayton metal detects on plots of land on Oak Island, he has to put a flag on top of the spot where metal was detected. After Gary does this, Laird Niven has to give him the okay to dig in those spots. Whenever Gary Drayton finds an object, last year and in seasons past, he was able to dig it up right away. But according to DCCH, that is not possible now. He has to get the okay from Laird Niven. And once Laird Niven gives him the okay, Gary Drayton and whoever's with him can dig up those artifacts or trash. But every time they do that, they have to bag it up and leave it in the exact same spot so Laird can look at it and deal with it. Another point I made is the team has a big green area on the map of the island where there are no restrictions on what they can do. That's the map that I showed you. That area is the Oak Island money pit. The reason why they can do anything they want is because it has been worked for over 200 years and has been changed so much. That is why there are no restrictions in that area. Money pit area has been disturbed for over 220 years. And a long time ago, Robert Dunfield, he dug a 100-foot wide by 100-foot deep hole, and that did so much destruction to the area, so that is why the Laginas and their Oak Island team have the green area marked in the money pit area. Another point is, the Oak Island team has been working with the DCCH and the Nova Scotia Government for years, and it has been working out just fine until this year. I can see why Marty Lagina is so frustrated with what's going on and why he wanted to throw in the towel from that article that I read you guys and from the episode. Hopefully they can work some deals out where they can all work together, and I'll talk more on that in a few minutes. So, Another point that I have is the Laginas and their partners own all of Oak Island, and the land they own is slowly being taken away from them where they can't work on it. There definitely needs to be some stuff worked out where the land's not just taken away and it can't be worked. There needs to be some stuff that works for both sides. And like I said, I'll touch on that more. Oak Island is 140 acres, and out of those 140 acres as of right now, 4 acres are off limits to the team out of the 140. Another point is this season, out of the 140 acres on the island, 4 acres are off limits to the team. The reason why they have restricted areas is because the pathway they found in the swamp and the area they found the Mi'kmaq pottery is on the southeast corner of the swamp. There is also another area that the team has to stay away from this year, and that is the surrounding area of the green area around the money pit area. That map I showed you, those red spots were the off-limit spots, and the team has 4 acres less out of the 140 acres Oak Island is. So another point is when Marty hears about the restrictions, he becomes angry and frustrated because he said, "We've been working with them and following everything the DCCH and Nova Scotia Government has asked them to do." Marty said, "The more we cooperate with them, the stricter they make the rules on us." Marty is so angry and frustrated that he says, "Should we just stop all work on Oak Island and just focus on the money pit area?" Marty asks, and Rick says, "No, we continue our efforts on the whole of Oak Island." Those are my thoughts on this episode of Curse of Oak Island. One thing that I would really like to see happen out of this is, I don't just think that the Nova Scotia government should shut down areas of Oak Island to the team. I believe the Laginas have supervision from Laird Niven and other archaeologists, and they're in contact with the DCCH. But now that they've found Mi'kmaq pottery, I believe it's cultural heritage and it needs to be preserved. Archaeological dig and stuff needs to happen there. Something that I believe should happen is, I don't believe the DCCH should just take away 4 acres or more acres to come in the future of historical significance that the Laginas and their team find. I believe that DCCH and Arcadia First Nation Council, that they should all work together and work as one cohesive unit. The Laginas and their team on Oak Island, they're filmed, but the people who work with the DCCH and the Arcadia First Nation Council, with their archaeologists, they don't have to be on TV. They can be like off the screen, because some of the people on the team are not always on screen, and if they don't want to be a part of the TV show, they don't have to be. But they need to work in one cohesive unit to help find the story that is Oak Island. There are many different stories on Oak Island, but the more the DCCH restricts the Laginas in areas where the Laginas want to search, they're limiting the story that the Laginas will find. Rick has said, "I'm not interested in the treasure. I am just interested in the story of Oak Island and the history. And some of the stuff that we find could and will change the story of North America. And that needs to be brought into the daylight. Because right now we know a bunch of stuff about Oak Island, but every time the team searches on Oak Island, more questions that need to be answered. And the more questions you have, and the less areas you have to search, you're never going to find that story." I believe that the DCCH, Nova Scotia Government, and Arcadia First Nation Council, they all need to work in one cohesive unit. They all don't have to be on TV on the Curse of Oak Island. They can be behind the scenes, and they just work with the Laginas and make sure, the Laginas and their team, and make sure that everything is going good and it's all up to snuff. This is my opinion on what is going on with the situation between the Laginas and the Oak Island team with the DCCH and the Nova Scotia Government. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. I'm just saying from my point of view, this is what should happen, because we all want to know the history and the story that comes out of Oak Island. And like I said, with limits, you're not going to get the full story. It's like last season's episode of Beyond Oak Island called Finders Keepers, and that show is based on treasure and shipwrecks. It's like Finders Keepers. The finder of the treasure keeps it. Not really, as we saw in that episode. I believe if the team works together with the government organizations I have talked about in this video, and it'll all work out. That is my point of view from what I saw, and I kind of believe that is what Marty's thoughts are too. I'm not speaking for Marty Lagina, but I just got that sense that he wants to work with them, but the more they work with them, the stricter the rules become on them. Something needs to work out, and that's just where I am. I made this video because I got that feeling from Marty Lagina that he wants work with these organizations to further the search and not have restrictions put on them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let's just try and get the word spread out of what is really going on with DCCH and the Laginas. Let's try and help get this resolved to where they all work together and not butt heads and possibly start a battle between them. Let's all work to get this message spread, and hopefully a change will happen where it benefits the Laginas and the ward to find out what really went on Oak Island and get the full story uncovered. Don't forget to hit the bell icon down below so you can be notified when I upload videos. Also, please share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you guys for watching, and if you ain't dreaming, you ain't living. Don't forget to dream big.